It should be no surprise that my favorite part about Ultima Online is stealing.
I like stealing. It makes my heart go fast.
Outlands actually just made dungeon stealing even more exciting, and this is sure to keep the thief hunters on their toes.
Oh, shot.
Now, since the introduction of Red Hand and Gray Hand, I've pretty much mained a thief character in my playtime. Now, our main goal with this particular stealing template is to steal an item, obviously, survive the chase, and in some cases, fight off a single chase, or actually survive a bunch of thief hunters chasing us at once. Which you guys know, for me, it's all about that chase. So with that, guys, sit back, grab yourself a beer, and let's steal some stuff. Alright guys, starting off with the template. So obviously 100 hiding. Hiding is arguably the most offensive skill in the game. Being able to line of sight players and monsters, and then monsters immediately aggroing onto your chaser, it actually puts you at a huge advantage. 100 ensures that we won't fail hiding as long as the line of sight rules apply. Majory's next at 100. Having 100 Majory gives us strong heals and greater heals. It allows us to summon if need be, and so much more. We definitely want 100 Majory here. Sometimes it's actually kind of fun to summon up an Earth Elemental and maybe a Fire Elemental and just act like you're farming alongside somebody as you're robbing them blind. Sometimes they catch it, sometimes they don't, and then you've got a little bit of backup when things go down and they attack you. Next up is stealing at 100. I mean, we're thieves, and failing stealing sucks, so yeah, let's go with 100 stealing. Wrestling at 100, this one is very, very important. While we are running from our marks, they're going to be hitting us, and so will monsters. We don't want to get interrupted in our casting when we need to heal ourselves or turn around and dump on them or what have you, so 100 wrestling is almost a must. Something new on this template is pairing at 80. Pairing at 80 gives us enough for the shield codex. It also reduces the damage that we take from Dexers tremendously, and in some cases even reflects spells from monsters as we drag our chasers through spawn. Overall, this is a pristine skill to have for survivability. One recent change is the ability to steal while you still have something in your hands. Used to, you couldn't do that, and so this makes parry super awesome. This one's kind of a head turner, snooping at 80. Now, I won't lie, this does cause for a few fails of snooping here and there, but the cooldown on snooping is like a second, so I'll gladly put 20 points elsewhere. 80 snooping with stealing allows us to access the Thief Codex as well. More on the codexes here shortly. Next up, magic resist at 70. 70 resist will reduce the damage we take from spells from both monsters as well as players. More of this would be amazing, but 70 seems to do the job well enough. Next is alchemy at 50. Alchemy is a sleeper skill that a lot know about, so is it really a sleeper skill? But my point is that even as low as 50, this lets our healing potions do massive amounts of healing. It also gives us a 6-minute duration on magic resist potions as well as strength potions, which the second we engage in PvP, we want to hit both of those, as it'll give us 20% more hit point cap at 120 and more magic resist for monsters. Eval intelligence at 40. Now at 40 eval, we can do e-bolts, ranging getting close to 30 damage in PvP, depending on enemies' magic resist, as compared to about 17 with 0 eval. Sure, we aren't throwing napalms at our targets, but a Stingray missile is very powerful when used at opportune moments. Basically, this is enough to do a full telekinesis, purple pot, explosion, e-bolt, lightning, magic arrow, and it will kill a person with 0 resist. If they're in Dexter wearing plate, you'll probably be casting Mind Blast after the explosion. But keep in mind though, if you don't kill them on the initial dump, you'll be low on mana and unable to regain it to kill them, so you'll be forced to retreat. Due to this, it's best to steal their healing abilities prior to dumping if that's the route you're going to go for, whether that be bandages, potions, or reagents, or a mixture of them. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is the Thief Codex. All you really need is Overlooked at 6 points. That's really the only thing that matters. What this does is it will reduce the aggro range of creatures by 3 tiles towards you. 6 points are needed to max this, but it's definitely not a requirement to start stealing. In the case you have your parry codex leveled, which is unlikely, Tetsudo is a great stance to be in, as you typically when running through spawn will have multiple creatures aggroed onto you. This gives you more DR damage resistance based on the amount of creatures aggroed onto you, up to a maximum of 5. Warding is another great stance to switch over to if you get bled, if you get a disease, or poison from a creature. It's good to familiarize yourself with the stances and have hotkeys ready for whatever situation you encounter. Again, like the Thief Codex, this isn't a requirement to start stealing, and for most won't be something they have ready, as most people will create a new character to steal rather than echo their main. Aspect. For most thieves, Shadow is the favorite. It always has been. But for this template, you guys probably noticed it has no stealth, so this won't be beneficial at all. I've always liked Void the best though. Having no meditation, Void armor helps us when we get out of combat in that regard. Also, if we're standing next to someone while they're fighting and the monster AoEs, the Void armor will boost us back a nice chunk of HP as long as we haven't stolen yet. For the mastery chain, if you're really min-maxing yourself and you're on an account with open links, get any damage resistance links you can find. This once again will help in defense versus monsters, even while flagged in PvP. This template really excels in dragging people through heavy spawn and being able to survive through it. So this is one link that is really going to set you apart and keep you alive when you run through some really strong monsters where others might die. On a couple other final notes, Kazuma has made some masterclass videos that honestly are about 2 years old. While old, the teachings of hotkeys is still relevant, as well as some of the nuances of stealing. He very rarely will fire up a stream as well, so it's a great place to throw a subscription on YouTube. Sanguine Jester steals about 30 hours a week, Tuesday through Friday. Be sure and check him out on Twitch, as well as listen to his episode on the Pwnstarr. He is an excellent thief and somebody great to watch if you're wanting to get into stealing or hone your skills. With that, guys, I can't stress enough how much fun stealing actually is in Ultima Online. Something that is brought up quite a bit in Discord is there's actually very little risk when you are stealing. You can actually put in, your trapped pouches, your potions, and all that good stuff that's going to help you stay alive, and I would strongly recommend it. Or, honestly, you can go in as a naked thief. Being a naked thief means you're going to die a ton, but if you go with the right survivability stuff, you're going to stay alive a lot more, and I promise you're going to have a lot more fun. One thing that makes this template even more fun is just the ability to interact with people in the game. Saying things, asking them for tribute, or telling them to do something like the Senor Don Gato channel point redemption when we stream stealing is just a lot of fun. It creates this fun sense of culture and interaction that you really can't find in other MMORPGs. Speaking of that, guys, make sure and come by the live streams most evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Twitter, and Facebook. That's right, 5 different platforms we stream at once. Shout out to the Patreons, the channel members, and you for liking this video, as it helps for discoverability for myself, but also UO Outlands and my fellow streamers and content creators. Do me a favor, guys, comment your favorite thing about stealing or killing a thief. Tell me how many times you've killed me in your book of grifts. Wait, actually that's grudges, but grifts is cool. Real quick, I know this video should have ended already, but make sure you go to the prep vendor and buy a book of grifts to see how many times you've snooped and how many times you've stolen from some players, as well as a book of grudges to see how many times they've killed you or you've killed them. Alright guys, once again, comment a video suggestion that you've got and all that other stuff. I'll see you next time. Pwnstarr Gaming out.